For centuries, power in Europe didn't just belong to kings. It belonged to the families who controlled information. Before railways, before telegraphs, before telephones, one family quietly connected empires. And when the world changed, their power slowly faded from memory. In early modern Europe, information moved slowly. Messages crossed borders on horseback. Diplomatic decisions depended on sealed letters. Wars, alliances, and fortunes were shaped by how fast or how securely news could travel. Whoever controlled communication didn't need an army. They simply needed trust. And in this world, long before modern states built postal systems of their own, one family rose to prominence by doing something deceptively simple. They delivered messages. The Thurn-und-Taxis family began not as nobles, but as service providers. In the late 15th century, they secured contracts from the Holy Roman Empire to operate imperial postal routes. What began as a logistical task soon became something far more valuable. They didn't just carry letters, they connected courts. They linked emperors, princes, bankers, and generals. Over time, their network stretched across much of Europe. Spain, Germany, Italy, the Low Countries. While rulers changed and borders shifted, the Thurn-und-Taxis system remained. Reliable, neutral, essential. Their wealth grew not from spectacle, but from necessity. They became indispensable. And indispensability is the quietest form of power. The family never ruled territory in the traditional sense. They didn't command armies or lead revolutions. Instead, they sat at the center of Europe's nervous system. Every message that passed through their hands carried value. Every delay or delivery shaped outcomes. Rulers trusted them. Banks relied on them. Empires functioned through them. Over generations, this trust transformed into privilege. Titles were granted. Lands were acquired. Wealth accumulated quietly, steadily, almost invisibly. And eventually, the family did what all enduring powers do. They built in stone. The palaces and estates of the Thurn-und-Taxis family were not built to impress crowds. They were built to signal stability. Their residences conveyed order, continuity, and legitimacy. They reflected a family that expected to exist and matter far into the future. Stone courtyards, symmetrical facades, interiors designed not for excess, but authority. These buildings were statements. They said, "We are not temporary. We are part of the system." At their height, the family had no need to announce power loudly. Their estates spoke quietly and convincingly on their behalf. For centuries, the system worked. The Thurn-und-Taxis postal monopoly generated immense, consistent wealth. Their name became institutional. While other families rose and fell through war or speculation, this dynasty endured through administration. They mastered inheritance. They avoided reckless expansion. They passed down influence carefully. This was old money at its purest, patient, disciplined, confident that tomorrow would resemble yesterday. But history rarely rewards permanence. The decline of the Thurn-und-Taxis family did not arrive as a catastrophe. There was no scandal, no sudden collapse, no dramatic betrayal. Instead, the world evolved. Nation-states began to centralize power. Governments built their own postal systems. Railways accelerated communication. Telegraphs made speed instant. What had once required a family-run network now required bureaucracy. The monopoly weakened. Contracts expired. Relevance diminished. Not because the family failed, but because the system no longer needed them. This is how most old power ends. Quietly, gradually, inevitably. The family adapted as best it could. Titles remained, estates were preserved, the name survived. But the role that once defined their existence was gone. Their palaces still stand, beautifully maintained reminders of a time when influence did not require visibility, and the buildings endured, the system did not. Today, the Thurn-und-Taxis family exists as a historical presence rather than a political force. Their wealth became heritage. Their power became memory. The story of the Thurn-und-Taxis family is not a tragedy. It is something quieter. It is a reminder that power tied to a system survives only as long as the system itself. Their estates were built to last forever, their influence was not. And in the end, history did not punish them. It simply moved on. If stories like this matter to you, not the noise of history, but the patterns behind it, you're welcome to stay. Subscribing simply means you'll be here for the next one, and the bell. That just ensures you don't miss it when it arrives. Next time, we'll look at a family that didn't lose power to progress or inheritance, but because they built their empire before the world knew how to protect it. Their wealth proved what was possible.